the world's first true superhighway, a feat of imperial engineering that redefined how empires project power, move armies, and bind fractured lands into a single, unbreakable nation. Today, we peel back the dust of millennia to expose the brutal logic, breathtaking ambition, and hidden cost of the road that turned the Qin dynasty's imperial dream into a geographical reality. In 221 BCE, Ying Zheng, later known as Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, completed the conquest of the 6 warring states, ending centuries of chaos and forging the first unified Chinese empire. But victory came with a fatal vulnerability: the northern frontier. The Xiongnu, a fierce nomadic confederation, raided Qin borders at will, burning villages, stealing livestock, and threatening the heart of the new empire. Qin armies, scattered across a vast territory, could not respond fast enough. Messengers took weeks to reach front lines. Supply trains crawled across rough trails. Cavalry units were slowed by broken terrain. For a ruler obsessed with control and eternal legacy, this delay was unacceptable. Qin Shi Huang did not just want to defend his borders, he wanted to dominate the space between his capital and the frontier. And so, in 35th year of his reign, 212 BCE, he issued a single ruthless order: build a straight, impervious military road from Yunyang, the imperial military hub, near present-day Chunhua Shanxi, all the way north to Zhuoyuan, the critical border commandery, in modern Baotou, Inner Mongolia. No detours, no compromises, no delays. The man tasked with this impossible mission was General Meng Tian, the most trusted military commander of the Qin dynasty, already overseeing the construction of the Great Wall and leading 300,000 troops against the Xiongnu. Meng Tian was given a workforce of roughly 300,000 soldiers, conscripted peasants, and convicted criminals, men who would either build the road or perish trying. The timeline was equally unforgiving. The empire needed the road operational in less than 3 years. What followed was one of the most audacious engineering projects in ancient history, documented by Sima Qian in records of the Grand Historian, with the chilling phrase, "He cut through mountains and filled valleys to make a straight road." This was not poetic exaggeration. Surviving archaeological remains prove that Meng Tian's crews reshaped the landscape on a biblical scale. They hacked through solid loess plateaus, blasted open rocky ridges, and filled deep gorges with layers of compacted earth, creating a roadbed that remains intact to this day. The specifications of the Qin Zhidao are staggering, even by modern standards. The road stretches approximately 750 kilometers, crossing 14 modern counties and 3 distinct geographic zones: the fertile Guanzhong Plain, the rugged Loess Plateau, and the arid northern grasslands. Its width varies from 20 meters in narrower sections to an astonishing 60 meters at its broadest points, wide enough for 8 modern highway lanes to run side by side. The core technology that made this road immortal is rammed earth, a Qin engineering signature. Workers layered dry soil, gravel, and sand in thin courses, then pounded it with heavy wooden rammers until the mixture was as hard as stone. Archaeological tests show that some sections of the Zhidao are so densely compacted that grass and weeds still struggle to grow after more than 2 millennia. Drainage ditches lined both sides to prevent erosion, and wooden post stations and signal towers were built at regular intervals to house troops, relay messages, and store military supplies. Every element was designed for one purpose: speed. Historical records and modern calculations confirm the road's transformative military impact. Before the Zhidao, a Qin cavalry unit traveling from Yunyang to Zhuoyuan would take weeks to navigate rough trails and natural barriers. After completion, elite cavalry could cover the entire distance in just 3 days and nights. Infantry and supply convoys could reach the border in 7 to 10 days, a speed unheard of in the ancient world. This meant that a Xiongnu raid could be met with a full imperial counterattack before the nomads could retreat to the steppes. The Zhidao did not exist in isolation. It was the missing link in Qin's northern defense system, working in perfect lockstep with the Great Wall. The wall stopped invaders cold. The Zhidao delivered the sword to destroy them. As Han Dynasty writer Jie later noted, the combined might of the wall and the road pushed the Xiongnu back more than 700 li, so that the barbarians did not dare to come south to graze their horses, and their warriors did not dare to bend their bows to seek revenge. For the first time, a Chinese empire held absolute strategic dominance over the northern steppes. But the Zhidao was far more than a military tool. It was the physical embodiment of Qin Shi Huang's vision of total centralization. The emperor's reforms of standardizing the writing system, currency, weights measures, and axle widths of carriages were not just bureaucratic edicts. They required a physical network to enforce them. The Zhidao turned the abstract idea of empire into a tangible, traversable space. Imperial edicts issued in Xianyang could reach border commanders in days, not weeks. Tax collectors, magistrates, and imperial inspectors traveled the road to extend Qin law to every corner of the north. Merchants followed, carrying grain, silk, and iron tools to border garrisons and trading with nomadic groups, slowly blending agricultural and steppe cultures. The road was a river of power, flowing unbroken from the emperor's throne to the edge of the known world. It turned a collection of conquered territories into a single, integrated state. The construction of the Zhidao came at a horrific human cost, a dark truth that haunts its legacy. Conscription for the road, the Great Wall, and the emperor's mausoleum drained the Qin Empire of its young men and agricultural labor. Farmers were torn from their fields, leading to food shortages and widespread hardship. Discipline was brutal. Any worker who slowed progress or defied orders faced execution or mutilation. Meng Tian himself would not live to see the road's full glory. When Qin Shi Huang died suddenly in 210 BCE during a tour of the empire, corrupt eunuch Zhao Gao and Prince Hu Hai forged a royal edict ordering Meng Tian and Crown Prince Fusu to commit suicide. Meng Tian, the man who built the wall and the superhighway that secured the empire, drank poison in a border camp, his life sacrificed to the paranoia and treachery of the Qin court. The road was largely finished by the time of his death, but the empire that built it was already crumbling under the weight of its own oppression. Within 4 years of Qin Shi Huang's death, peasant uprisings erupted across China, and the Qin dynasty collapsed in a storm of rebellion. But the Zhidao did not die with its creator. For more than 1,000 years it remained the most important north-south route in northern China. The Han dynasty used it to launch massive military campaigns against the Xiongnu under Emperor Wu, sending hundreds of thousands of troops and tons of supplies north to secure the western regions. It carried the famous peace procession of Wang Zhao, June, the Han princess, who married the Xiongnu chieftain, to secure a lasting truce. Tang dynasty, armies, traders, and pilgrims traveled its length, and it remained in regular use until the Ming and Qing dynasties, when new routes and political shifts reduced its importance. Today, archaeologists are still uncovering well-preserved sections, revealing the precision of Qin surveying and engineering techniques that would not be matched in Europe for centuries. To understand the Qin Zhidao is to understand the soul of ancient Chinese empire building. It is often compared to the Roman roads, the most famous infrastructure of the ancient West, but the comparison reveals profound differences. Roman roads were a sprawling network built over centuries to connect a maritime trading empire. They were curved to follow terrain and served both military and civilian life. The Qin Zhidao was a single, laser-straight dagger driven into the frontier, built in just over 2 years to serve the absolute military and political control of a land-based, centralized empire. It was not a network, it was a spear point. It predates the Appian Way, Rome's first great military road, by nearly a century, making it the true first superhighway in human history. It is a testament to what a centralized state can achieve when it harnesses unlimited resources and unchallenged authority for good and for ill. The Qin Zhidao lies forgotten by most of the world, overshadowed by the Terracotta Army and the Great Wall. But it is every bit as revolutionary. It changed the geography of power, proved that human engineering could conquer nature, and set a standard for infrastructure that would define Chinese civilization for millennia. It is a road built not just for armies but for eternity, a strip of compacted earth that carries the weight of China's first imperial dream from the heights of Yunyang to the plains of Zhuyuan, from the age of emperors to our own. It reminds us that every great empire is not just defined by its wars or its laws, but by the roads it builds to hold itself together. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient China, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more epic history. See you next time.